Hello. Welcome back. Game winning drive. Hey, Mikey.
What's up, Gabe?
First thing, man, I got the little perpetrator here from last week. This little she-devil was always trying to get on the show. It was annoying to some people. My brain, I was thinking maybe it's an underdog, or maybe it's a sign that the dogs are barking this week. And then we got knocked out of Grandissimo with the Cleveland Browns.
And Gabe's going to take your advice and punish her live on cam on show today. I begged him not to, but
she
Gabe
just
insisted.
No, Vaughn. She just sensed that though maybe and took off. So I might got to go grab her once we have some stuff on the screen. But anyway, real quick, I feel like a few weeks ago the landscaper showed up during the show and my audio just like canceled it out and it was beautiful, right? So I feel like last week when she started barking, I was like, come on, audio cancellation, like work it out. But
I take some responsibility because I heard, but I didn't want to bring attention to it.
Yeah, you think those new AI algorithms, 99%, you don't want the dog barking in the background, so they should like detect that and work it out. But we're still early, I guess. So yeah, we got knocked out. Grandissimo, Survivor Atlas G.
One entry.
Yeah, but
Titanic
that was the one.
Music.
That was the one with my name on it, though, right? That was the one where I'd already written the victory speech, and now I got to put that speech back in the filing cabinet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe for Circus Survivor, I whip out. That's a whole different speech.
Well, yeah, I mean, booted, but this is the first week, for the most part, that there's been any sort of carnage.
Yes, it felt nice to see thousands knocked out. That's a small solace.
Yeah, when you look at chunk eliminated and it says whatever, I think 20%, 25%, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
That's kind of wild that we've achieved that number, and yes, Packers was like a big part of that, but like that, there's a fair amount that are just getting chipped away, like a bunch of Dumbos that are picking, off the beaten path teams, and they're just getting,
yes.
busted.
Hey, thinking of that, you've brought up a couple of times, wondering how many times or how many people in the field don't even know the rules and what they're burning, and there's some injuries that have burned all three Thanksgiving.
It'd be wild if somebody burned 6.
Yeah.
That is wild. Then that's definitive proof that the over of people that don't know the rules is going to hit.
Yes.
You set it at like 0.01%.
Yes, I know. I put a crazy. Let me bring some of these up just because to show off a new feature. It's a little buggy right now. I'm noticing this one. Not everything's right, but on this page, if you click numbers, you can see like, okay, on Christmas, who doesn't have Detroit, Kansas City, or Washington available. And you click on this, and you see, wow, 2 entries have burned all 3 of them.
So we're already over our allotment of people that don't know what's going on.
Yes, and I'm sure Thanksgiving there's something similar going where, 5 entries have used Philadelphia, Baltimore, Kansas City. So what's their plan? Are they?
What are you doing, dude? Maybe their plan is to get to the week before Thanksgiving and sell their ticket or something.
Yeah, or just trying to survive October. Sorry, one second. Yes, so I got the forecast we put out. Maybe we shouldn't get into this yet. Maybe we should
let's do a little more week 3 because I have some thoughts about week 3.
All right. Well, what are you thinking about week 3, man?
I think that, obviously the big discussion was to use Seattle or not to use Seattle. And there was pluses and minuses across the board for that selection. One, everybody and their mother's going to be on that. But beyond that, you're burning a team that, lacks future value. So in that sense, it's good. Mm-hmm. And then when you see the result and it's like, the game starts and they're up like 60-0, and you're just like, oh shit. You're just like, this had to, of course this happens when you try to get cute and do something like Packers or something like that. And it just feels like it just punishes you. And in the worst possible way, because it's not like Seattle wins like, on a last second field goal where you're like, oh, okay, at least I was in it. This was like, oh, they just completely stomped, had absolutely zero chance that it was guaranteed hammerlock.
Yes, I forget the exact time overlap, but it felt like as soon as Green Bay lost, it was already confirmed that Seattle was going to win.
Right, by 30, yeah.
Right, I think Seattle might have. I think I got up here. They closed a little bit more of a favorite than Green Bay, which the line wasn't looking like that a couple of days earlier. I think there was some weird divergences between the money on the spread, but whatever. People like to look at these weeks and say, "Oh, last year had a crazy week 1, week 2, and 3, and this year was so safe, so we're due to be crazy." But really, it's just all these independent events make for a great narrative in hindsight.
Yeah.
And you're saying about, of course they did.
Yeah, like after all the talk, and you're like you're gonna fancy it up, and you're gonna be on an island and
go for Atlanta,
and Seattle's gonna get punished, and we lose 40%, and now we're talking real. Now we're in the meat of the contest, and it just of course it just doesn't happen.
Yes, but that was only the third week, and there's a lot of weeks for the Chalk to lose.
So here's my other thought from week 3. I feel like we now have maybe not significant, but a sample size that can be examined. Whereas like in week 1, you're like shooting from the hip, basing it on last year projection, all that kind of stuff. And then week 2, sure, anything can happen. Like I forget, maybe it was the Cardinals that played like duty pile. So you still don't quite know like how good they are, even though they're 2-0. Like should they be 2-0? That kind of stuff. But by after they play a third game, it's like all right, we can start using this season's information as the driving force behind our decisions in for the following weeks.
Yeah, getting the 3 data points is a lot. It feels a lot like easier than just 2, right? But sometimes that third data point throws everything off.
That's true.
Atlanta, I mean, we saw them get smoked. The stat sheet, they did all right, but they got absolutely smoked.
And my dummy suggestion for the Redskins last week with sans Jaden Daniels, and then Mariota goes out there and stomps them.
Yes, dude. I think your dog's trying to talk to my dog right now, man.
Hey, zip it,
buddy. Hey, one thing interesting about the games this week, thinking of especially Atlanta and Indy, because those are both teams kind of like you're talking about. You see 2 games, and you're like, okay, like where are these teams at? And then the third game, I feel like made a big statement. But if you didn't have your pick in until Saturday, like if you're in state and you have the luxury of pushing the deadline, and you were watching the odds move, it seemed like some sharp people were bombing Indy and against Atlanta. So that was something kind of noticed in the hours leading up to deadline. And I just thought that was interesting because if you watch the games play out and heard that the Sharps were on Colts and against the Falcons, and you watch the games, you go, oh, yeah, like that. The good team crushed and the bad team got smoked. So
yeah,
personally, like my entry, I had the same Indy and Atlanta. I thought both were kind of just spicy picks to dodge the chalk. But if you take 2 70%ers, most of the time, one of them is going to lose at least, right? So there it is.
So the other thing that I've sort of falls into week 3 recap is like going forward, there's a lot of teams, of course you want like every week, there's always going to be consideration for like Bills, Ravens, these teams that are demonstrating that they're very good, right? But I think you're finally kind of seeing whether you want to fade bad teams or select a good team in certain situations. And I think, you might view those as equal. And like, of course, you want to pick a good team against and fade a bad team at the same time. But if you have to choose between the two, I think we're seeing, at least now, maybe the case is stronger for against bad teams than selecting the good teams.
Well, okay.
What do you think? I mean, is New Orleans going to go 0-17?
Man, I mean, my first reaction is I love playing the bad teams, but every year there's always a handful of teams where it's like, this teams could not win a game the whole time, and they get back into some wins. I mean, the Browns, obviously their defense is crazy good.
The Browns are better than a fade them every week team. I think
they're bottom 5 in the power ratings. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but I think the disparity, just compare them to the Saints. The disparity between Browns and Saints is like, in my heart, is massive.
Yes. I don't know, but I feel like we're too early to plant teams and going, okay, this team has no chance.
Yeah.
Because Carolina, Tennessee, Saints, the Jets too. Like the Jets.
Yeah.
By halftime, everyone was writing them off, but they can make plays. They make plays happen, change the game, right?
Yeah.
Also, New England and the Giants.
Yeah, they have. I don't know. They're bad. Like Russell Wilson was bad again.
Yeah.
They have.
So
they have like a puncher's chance.
Yeah. So he got benched today. I don't know if you saw that right before the show.
Oh, I didn't see that.
But so that's a funny spot now with the Giants.
Oh, so that's a wild card now.
Very much so, right?
Yeah.
But okay, let's think about this for a second. The Chargers are playing at the Giants. The Chargers have a couple good spots in the future, but like, would the Giants not have started this dude if he was better than Wilson a few weeks ago? Do you think they just like had to start the veteran for the first few weeks just to pay some service to him, or is there a chance this guy has actually been better the whole time and the buzz is real?
I never understand that. Like, there's no way that this dude is like now ready after 3 weeks. Like, if he was the better player now, he was the better player 3 weeks ago.
Right, but maybe they wouldn't. Doesn't mean they would have started him 3 weeks ago because they got Russell Wilson. They paid him some money. And
there's hope that Russell Wilson still has gas in the tank or something like that.
Yeah, and the coaching staff doesn't want to just get embarrassed and fired quickly. So they're like, let's just put the veteran in, and then when he looks bad, we can try our dude out.
Okay,
maybe.
But play it out the other way. Let's say they did say, okay, we're going with the young kid. Then at the beginning of the season, and they end up in the same spot. Well, obviously you wouldn't know because you can't run 2 trials. But you're 0-3 playing the kid, and he looks. Let's say he looks like middle of the road. You think that looks worse on the coaching staff than if they started Wilson and their shit?
I don't know. I mean, I guess they're just probably really hoping they weren't 0-3 and they didn't want to give PTSD to a rookie the first few weeks.
Yeah, but I don't know. I have some friends that say that if that's going to discourage your rookie that much, where they're if they go in and they suck for 3 games and that ruins their mindset or something like that, then that person's trash anyway.
Yes, it's all like the ruining rookie thing. It might just all be hindsight, like narratives, right?
I think so. Yeah.
But I don't know, man. You remember, what was it, 20 years ago when we were watching Patrick Ramsey in Washington, and it seemed like the guy was MVP arm level, but he never had a chance, man. He got sacked too many times for too long.
Yeah, or what's his name? For the Texans, maybe Carr.
Oh. Okay.
I can't remember. Yeah, the guy got sacked like, I don't know, I think it's like 150 times or something.
300 times once.
Yeah. It's like 1 out of 3 plays. He was getting like hurricane body slammed.
Right. Get the tombstone.
Yeah. He was getting like a hurricane Arana off the but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think maybe it has some impact. And like, I guess if you're like routinely getting concussed, then yeah, it has lasting.
Hey, thinking of that, man, you saw Dan Quinn get his bell rung? Dude, that's bad for him, man.
He did get drilled. His head was like ricocheted off that.
Dude, that's like, you don't want your coach taking brain damage stuff.
Well, he's kind of like a jughead anyway. He's like,
yeah, but
he's not a brainiac like
dude,
type guy.
I hear that, but if you're talking about brainiacs versus, was it Jughead? Is that what you said?
Yeah, he's a jughead.
The brainiacs got all their processing power up here, but the jugheads got it deep in their
down in the cerebral cortex,
like in the reptilian brain. That's where the
connector spot or whatever.
Right, they're like feeling that animal stuff. So like Dan Campbell and Dan Quinn get hit in the back of the head. Maybe that messes up their mojo more so than Sean McVay getting hit back here. Just throwing that out.
Like it'd be wild if he like he's like a rah guy, and this week he's like, hey guys, how you guys feeling this week? You guys think we should go out there and knock it to him? Or?
Right. You guys want to meditate or something?
Yeah. What are you guys thinking?
Yeah. So I'm praying for him. I mean, never want to see a dude catch a head thing like that without a helmet on, because obviously it's tough, but he's probably in pain and feeling way dumber today. So anyway, hopefully, probably what doesn't affect Washington going forward. They look strong without Jaden, right? They look fine.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's kind of exciting, but
that was an important game for them. Like,
yeah, get that.
It'd be 1-2 or 2-1, kind of a huge difference between the two, and like losing to the Raiders would have been bad. And yes, you could have blamed it on not having Jaden, but it still would have been bad. So I don't know. It does show that they're like stronger than I would.
Yes, and they get Atlanta this week, who put up 0 last week.
Probably the worst performance so far of the year by like a pretty big margin. Again, it's one of the worst in the league. You put up 0.
It's hard to do a 0, man.
In NFL, it's really difficult.
Like, and obviously they're playing from behind, they're not kicking long field goals, but in the era of 60-yard field goals or locks
and pass interference and something is going to get you on that side of the field at some point.
Yeah. So put 3 points on the board or something, right? And also the story about the kicker, obviously it's a little funny just because Young Ho Koo, he's kind of legendary.
I loved him. We were almost going to pick him in like multiple fantasy football drafts.
Oh dang! Well, he'll be on a new team like within 10 days. He'll be kicking for someone.
I wouldn't be shocked if it's the Commanders. They had Gay who missed something. It just wasn't like impressive. He also kicked the ball out of bounds on the whatever.
Man, I didn't watch any of that game. The first round, I just was glued to the Green Bay Browns and
watching 100K disappear.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Like, just the feeling, like when one thing happens and your brain starts going, it's inevitable, I'm losing this.
Yeah.
And, on the win percentage graph, it's only like a little uptick that gets you where you start going, oh, I just changed. But I feel like I gaslit myself into thinking that it was already going to definitely lose. So I didn't like feel the pain. Maybe it's some defense mechanism from.
It's bad when you're like rooting for things that are anti-football, like okay, so if they decide not to run the clock out here, they might instead run a play up the middle and bust it instead of taking a knee or something along the lines of an anti thing that is in the strategic sense of the game?
I think I know what you mean. Just as far as the wackiness stuff, though, this was an extra wacky week, and now for like the rest of the season, when you really need a miracle, you can like
look back to week 3.
Yeah, and go, oh, someone can just block the kick and take it back.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, there was the double kick block.
Maybe there's 3, right? There was the Eagles, the Jets, and the Browns, but I'm over it, I guess. Still surviving, and
yeah, but not as you're surviving, but not thriving.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's been a while since I was a high stakes gambler, and I had a decade of getting knocked out of stuff where you watch the money go, and you're like, oh, that sucks, and you have to learn how to deal with it. And I hadn't had to deal with that for years, like since COVID-ish until now. So it was kind of maybe a sense of nostalgia kind of worked into the losing feeling, like, oh, I know how to handle a big loss.
Yeah.
Can just keep rolling with it, but I just had to say that, and now we can move on.
Well, let's get into week 4 if you want.
Okay. Let's do it. I put some
like,
projections, or we put projections out a little bit ago.
I think that there's obviously one team we should talk about, but I think that yes, there's one team that's head and shoulders above, which is Buffalo versus the Saints, which is exactly what we were talking about. Where are you going to fade the bad team or pick the good team? And in this situation, you have the opportunity to do both, which is like wild, because it's the literal best versus the literal worst. So I don't know. It's hard to make a case, but this is kind of where some level of strategy comes in, and like the projections matter, because if this is going to hold like, I don't know, like 80% of picks or something, you can just be with 20% of the field. If something happens, which unlikely. That's 17-point favorites. Super.
We're saying that the value, it's even if Buffalo goes crazy high, popular. There's not going to be value picking other teams and hoping Buffalo loses. The value you get from the other teams is saving Buffalo, right? Like your future value.
Fair enough, yeah.
And we know Buffalo has all these games.
Where they're double-digit favorites.
Yeah, click this thing right here. Look, they're number 1 now. They're number 1 week 10, 18, 14. And look at all these are in the top 3. You see this?
The thing about Buffalo that is a big factor here is they're not a holiday team, either Thanksgiving or Christmas. So your choice of when to use them is, it's free in that sense. You don't necessarily have to bank them for one of those.
Yes. And when you first see a line and Circus putting up minus 2,000, and you have it available, you're like, dang, I'll just like put this in and move on. Like,
right. Right.
But the reason we only projected them at 30% is that, but also the Texans exist. And in the past, when there's weeks like this, where there's like this huge favorite, if there's no team to release the pressure, like a valve, you like pull it out, then the Buffalo would be very high. Like if Houston didn't exist, if Houston was only a 4-point favorite, I think Buffalo is like maybe 40, low 40s here. But the fact that people see Houston, they, futures like nothing to write home about. They have a few spots, a few maybe spots. But
for Houston, Houston has very limited future value.
Yes, and this thing about the field where the field's favorite play, the team that's like not good but a big favorite and have low future value. Talking Arizona.
This was Seattle last week.
Yes, like because that keeps winning, that like mindset that
becomes more attractive.
Yeah, and not just becomes more attractive, but like the people experiencing it it grows like a bigger thing in their brain. Oh, Seattle was such an obvious pick, just like Arizona was.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to win $18 million by definitely picking Houston because they have no future value, and I'll use Buffalo later. And I think that just that existing is going to give Houston a quite high floor this week, even though they're maybe not that good. They got some good defense. Stroud, kind of like not what we thought he was a couple years ago, maybe. But
so yes, I mean those two are the ones that jump out, right? Houston and Buffalo. But there's a handful of other, big time spreads out there.
yes. But I mean, you're probably just going to pencil in Buffalo or Houston, knowing you, man. I read your cheese article. You're just trying to make some Parmesan or whatever by picking the cheese.
Make some hay, baby. No, I mean, I think I have a slight inclination towards Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's difficult for me to see the rookie coming in and cementing his play. I mean, is this kid going to be like Mike Vick or something? I don't know. Probably
that's what they're saying.
But there is that fear of the unknown,
Yeah, I gotta say, they put him in for some plays, but I'm pretty sure they didn't let him throw the ball over.
Yeah,
which makes me lean towards him. Obviously, he's an option dude, and the read option is like he's awesome at it. But
yeah,
that he didn't get the reins to throw one pass in that game the other night makes me think he's not going to blow us away yet.
Right.
And
to be fair, I mean, Chargers have a handful of good spots in the future that are even better than this one. So
yes,
like Tennessee in the distance, not even too far away. Raiders, certainly better spots than Giants this week, I think.
Yes. I gotta say the Giants too. That defense is scary, man. I don't want to pick against the Giants defense anymore. The other. We had some Kansas City the other night, and just seeing them terrorize and how they're all like all-stars and they all have cool nicknames and everything. It's just a scary situation, and obviously Chargers seem pretty good, but that one is not grabbing me this week.
Okay, fair enough. So I mean, a couple other options. You have Packers, which stung you last week, but they're a full touchdown favorite. So,
hey,
go
ahead.
It's hard to see. Yeah, I think there's only like they only have two spots that are better than this, and they're not a holiday team, so you don't necessarily have to hold them for that.
Packers are Thanksgiving.
Oh, what am I looking at?
Packers. The thing is.
Oh yes, they are. Sorry, Thanksgiving.
Like a week ago, it seemed cool to take Packers. Or no, excuse me. It seemed cool to need Packers for Thanksgiving. Oh, they're going to wipe Detroit. But after seeing them both play their last game.
Now you think Detroit is head and shoulders going to be the pick then.
Right, lean back that way. I think the Green Bay pick is a cool pick this week, though, because it shouldn't be too popular.
Yeah, I agree. Especially, people are going to, short term it and be like, oh, steer clear of Packers, undecided, not sure yet. So I think it'll be lower owned than the spread would dictate. Does that make sense?
Yes, we did put that out there. Like you said, lower than where they were elsewhere. But it's that game where, like, okay, the value, the way you create value this week is you get by without Buffalo somehow.
Yeah.
There are, 14, or are there any buys this week? No buys yet. There's a lot of teams likely to win that aren't as good as Buffalo, but they're not as likely as Buffalo to win, right? And Green Bay, I would think in general, like people pivoting off of Buffalo, they're not doing it to use another great future value team. Hey, I think people aren't getting off Buffalo to burn Detroit or Green Bay, right? And maybe even Denver.
The other, I mean, you mentioned it. The other options are Broncos, but I'd be curious because that was my pick in the first game, obviously, and I don't know. It seems like a lot of people that are still in probably burned Broncos already.
58% available. See right here.
Oh, I see it. So yeah, I mean that's low. That's like
yes, low. And they have
other than Arizona.
They have those spots.
Against Giants.
What is it? Yeah, they have two spots where they're in the top three, the Giants and the Vegas one. They play on Christmas. And the Christmas spot, the Denver at Kansas City has been my secret plan to win $18.7 million. But we'll see what happens on that.
And then the last real option is that we haven't mentioned yet is the Lions, but that feels like do not go. They're a double holiday team.
But hey, Buffalo. Over a quarter of the field doesn't have Buffalo, so those people got to pick something. And everyone's considering Houston because they're 100%. But also everyone's 99.9 considering New England hosting Carolina. That one doesn't interest you at all, man? Like trying to make some
a little.
New England has nothing in the future.
But again, I feel like in the same way that we're discounting Packers from last week, we're going against Carolina after seeing last week. You're a little bit frozen in doing so.
Yes, and the market has been saying New England sucks. Like their power rating -3. That's a bad team.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things where if you're going with New England, you have to be at peace with being on a team that's not very efficient. And Carolina, dude, who knows? Got my head spinning. Carolina. It's one of those things that when New England wins, Mikey, you're going to wish you went all in New England.
Yeah, I mean that's how it goes, and so in my personal entry, or no, not my personal, like my group, my team entry for Circa, I told you that we have a vote, and last week I voted for Buffalo, and I was overruled, and we took Seattle, and so it's like, I'm feeling good because we got Buffalo in the pocket, and also if Seattle lost, I could have been like, I told you assholes, that kind of thing.
Dude, but you're not going to have any pull for the rest of the season after you voted for the Buffalo.
After I did that, I know.
So, damn, man, you're kind of already set back.
And so it seems like the consensus in my group is the type that you can guess whether we've done some preliminary voting so far already. Where do you think they're leaning based on the fact that they were Broncos, Arizona, Seahawks?
Ooh, Seahawks. I mean, if they're mapping and they land on Seahawks because of mapping, then I would think they're on Houston this week.
You nailed it. Everyone's Houston already.
Man, if Houston, I mean, could Houston be picked more than Buffalo? That's possible.
I don't. Again, you know better than me, but it's hard for me to envision that. It's hard for me to envision that many people looking at -16.5 and saying, all right, pass.
Yeah, but was week 2 that different with both Baltimore and Arizona right here? Was it that different?
Yeah.
Was it that different?
Because we have more data points, and the Saints looked bad then, but they look horrible now. They like in week 1 and 2. It's hard to see a team as being like non-competitive.
They were competitive for the first 2 games, right? Were they almost tied the first one in the last second. They almost beat.
Yeah, but recency effect. We're looking at week 3 now only.
Okay. Well.
And and they were like very non-competitive.
Okay, with that in mind though, I feel like it's not about that. Because looking at this week too, we see Arizona got picked more than Baltimore, and people had all the reads in the world about why Baltimore is definitely going to win, and Arizona, the same thing. Oh, they're playing Carolina.
Yeah.
And it's a team with less future value was picked more than the big favorite.
Okay, all right, that's your best point, and I agree.
All right, well then, so now it doesn't seem so crazy that if Houston somehow gets picked more than Buffalo. I mean, I'm not saying that's likely. It seems like Buffalo should eat just fine. But if there's one team, that's it. Unless, I mean, I'm trying to think what could happen.
What's the combined ownership? Maybe put it that way. What's the combined ownership of Texans and Buffalo?
Buffalo, probably like 57, 8, 9, 60, 58, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, even that seems like low to me.
So for what it's worth, last week the top two teams added up to 60.
I would think that this week has to exceed that, because you have two cases where it justifies selecting those two teams in a huge way, and you can do contrarian, like we just said, with I don't know, Lions or even Chargers or that kind of thing, but I don't know. Like if you're making a case for picking either team, for picking a team in general, and let's say you had to justify it like I do in front of it's a group pick where you're, weighing out the options. You're going to have two groups of people that are giving you reasons for taking either Buffalo or Houston. And then you're going to have one jackass that's like, I think Chargers. Yeah, I think we should do Patriots. And you're like, get out of here, buddy. So,
well,
I don't know. It seems like those are the only two options to me.
All right, let me just give you a little fodder for next time the democracy's turning against you, Mike.
Okay.
You try some lines like this. Okay, Buffalo. Let's say they're the same as Houston this week. Let's say they're both 30% just to make it easy. Then we know Buffalo is earning a lot of EV. I'll just do the EV of what we projected just to be quick with it. So this is where did I hit it? So we know Buffalo big fat EV. Each entry is worth $1,300, right?
Yeah.
So if you make this play, on average, next week, all the possible outcomes in the world, on average, you will have an entry that's worth 15% more than 1,300. So what is that? 1,500. But if you don't use Buffalo this week, you can do that same play where you use Buffalo in a few weeks, where the EV it makes you, it's not $200. It could be like 12.
Right.
And obviously, there's
the absolute value of the dollar that is increasing is going up quite a bit week over week.
Yes, but the counter to that is obviously there's some kind of decay because you're not likely to survive forever and ever.
Right, so by doing that.
Yeah, you can't just do EV problems 3 months away and go, I'm making $1 million saving this.
Yeah, otherwise you would just take fucking New Orleans.
Right.
well, now it's worth this much. Here's a question: is there going to be a single pick on New Orleans
this week?
Yeah.
I think no. I think once people felt that burn this week or seeing it or something, I think everyone is going to tighten up. But there were some funny picks. I think 3 people were on the Carolina Panthers last week.
Yeah, I saw that.
And how many different teams were even picked? Dang, what is that? 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 30 teams were picked last week? Or no, 26?
Who was it?
New Orleans, no, they were picked. Miami, they were picked.
How much of a dope do you feel like if you picked New Orleans last week?
Hey, let's pull up that guy's entry. I got this entry filter working a little better. Let's see. And no, I'm not going to say he's a dope or she because, we don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah, I mean,
two people.
You always do that, and then you look it up, and it's like, Isaac Haxton or Galfond or something, and you're like, oh shit, maybe I should have taken New Orleans last week.
Yeah. Okay. We got their names. Let's see what they were. Because they must have had some kind of bigger strategy to this, right?
Right. Like that's what I mean. Like if you're playing in a poker tournament and you're playing and whatever, the player under the gun like 6x's it. You're like, oh, what a dope, what an idiot, right? And then if the player under the gun is in the super high roller and it's Isaac Haxton and he 6x's it, you're like, oh shit, I'm gonna start 6xing.
Yes.
So it's the same end result, but depending on who did it, it's either the best play of the year or the worst play.
Okay. Yes. Thank you for saying that. But we can be pretty sure about this play being not that great of a play. This dude picked 5 Seattle and then 1 against himself. And to anyone out there, you don't ever need to pick against yourself. Instead of hedging like that and just destroying value, you could have just put this New Orleans on some small favorite. Could have just flicked it on somebody else. And it would have been in a better situation than hedging against yourself. Let's see what the other.
That's a wild. Man, I hate that move.
Yeah, this guy did one too. But one thing that's worth saying, some of these accounts, like I know I got a friend who signed up for a bunch of entries, but then like one guy wanted one of the entries, and then like the guy.
Okay, all right, fair enough. He's a proxy for multiple people. Oh, you got to overrule the person submitting that pick. You have to say I can't in good conscience, select the Saints for you, man.
That would be funny. A proxy that puts his foot down. You're hurting your future value too much by picking Buffalo.
so someone is like, hey man, we're just doing like a random thing and we spin the wheel each week and that's who we pick, and this week we landed on Saints, and so it's kind of a funny thing for us, but that's our pick. And the guy's like, that ain't gonna work for me.
There's a lot of room for novel proxy services like that, so we'll put a pin in that one. Also, since I got it up, Mike, you can see this entries filter or the leaderboard for the lobby. You want to see what the most common entry is? Of course, it's Denver, Arizona, Seattle. 1,300.
Well, that's mine.
That's your entry?
Yeah.
You're on the single most fishy entry, dude?
Yeah, the fish entry.
Dude, okay.
That might not bode well for our entry, but it bodes well for my poker game. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, man. But I think next time y'all have a Congress, you might need to pull up this page and go, listen, we have the most common entry.
Yeah.
We gotta.
We're so basic. We're so pumpkin spice.
It's so basic, and just if any one of that democracy is listening to me, are y'all trying to win $18 million or just trying to keep Mikey in the poker game?
Yeah, I think it's the latter.
Because if you're trying to win it all, I want to see y'all get more creative this week. Okay.
We have a former congressman.
Is he the
Congress?
Is he the leader of the? Does he like?
Yeah, medium. He's a medium leader.
He has the gavel.
Yeah.
That's cool. He wasn't making a case. He wasn't the guy making a case for Atlanta last week or whatever. He was.
No, he's actually been. I think against. I have to go back and check the voting logs, but I think he's been opposite those three in each situation.
Dude, I do wonder how many active congressmen are playing Circa Survivor or just Survivor in general.
Man, it feels. If I had to set a line, it's 0.5.
All right, well, whatever then. We don't got to talk about it if you're only 0.5, dude.
No, I mean, I'm open to talking about it, and you can take the over, but like, well, I don't know. Maybe the ones from Nevada. To be fair, that's going to be your best chance, right?
Ooh, yeah, I don't know. Maybe more likely people to have a proxy out of state.
Yeah. It just feels like I don't know. It feels like not a good look for like the congressman from I don't know from Utah to be having a proxy for a betting service. You know,
Right. And what does it say about your congressman when you can pull up their picks on Atlas and go, dang, they just went chalk every week.
What an idiot!
They're just trying to survive.
Yeah,
They're trying to maximize value.
You could look at the entries and envision which congressman or senator has that entry. Like,
oh yeah,
the 5 Seattle 1 Saints. Like, I don't know. We don't have to make it political, but I have some people in mind that I feel like would be that entry.
Yeah, we don't have to go any further on that. I just put up who used Carolina just for fun. These 3 people, like if you look at their entries, they have like reasonable entries going, right? And then
that feels like a Rand Paul. You know,
doing the sideways Carolina one or what?
Doing a Carolina in week 3. That feels like a real outsider.
It is
like Bernie Sanders and independent.
Yeah. All right, we might have to write up some material for that, but let's just
pick an entry and pick which politician they are, and we'll hammer both sides. So
yeah, what politician just like gets destroyed in the first few weeks? Go Gabe's only 4 of us, or only 4 Gabes left.
Oh, that dude that got booted and arrested, and he's like in jail.
Oh God, I'm George Santos.
Yeah. He's like, don't send me to jail. They're gonna seriously kill me.
Yeah, I got some wacky entries. I don't think you'll find these 4 in the top, but anyway, we don't gotta look at this anymore. Except maybe seeing the best entry. These are kind of weird because these teams might adjust, but Cincinnati, Dallas, Jacksonville, pretty strong.
Yeah. I mean, if you have Cincinnati as being used already, that's huge because you know they essentially shouldn't be used for quite some time. And even when what's his name comes back, like, are you jacked to use him then? Not really.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be against like a trash team with no defense because the offensive line is just too gross.
Yeah.
Hey, but let's think about this week, the choices this week for a few more minutes first, man.
Okay. All right. So obviously Buffalo, Houston, and then like mega gap down.
Okay, worth saying. Houston, I'm seeing 72% to win. New England, I'm seeing 69. It's not that big a difference, right?
Yeah.
And Houston might be triple the popularity of New England. Probably not.
Fair enough.
But it might be. And if these lines, you know, Houston's on the other side of 7. If that goes out to 7.5 and New England's comes back to 5, it could get really lopsided.
Yeah, and I'm looking at New England future value, and it is not good.
Yes.
It's actually really bad. Your next best shot is like the Giants in like week 13.
Right, and New England versus the Jets, nothing in Cleveland. All 3 of those teams, you can just picture Drake May just on the ground all day or just screaming for his life.
Well, also, the Giants is week 13, and, you know, who knows? This kid comes in and starts getting better by then.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, New England's projected -3 versus the Giants, but, you know, that's completely up in the air at this point. That's a big time question mark.
Oh yeah, the Giants do seem like they have a lot of upside, like more than other teams, right? We've seen everyone else, but the Giants, if they can get some just a little bit of action, a little bit of efficiency on offense, that they become scary.
Yeah, that's kind of what we were saying at the top, where not all bottom 5 teams are created equal. You know?
It's kind of like the UFC matchups. You think the matchups matter? The style matter?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And also, well, here's an example to prove the point. New England right now projected to be -3 week 13 against the Giants.
Mm.
How much would you bet on the Giants +3 right now?
0.
0? I would bet something. I feel like the spread at that point is,
What week was that? Sorry, say it again.
week 13.
Week
You
13.
have Patriots -3 against the Giants. That's projection. But, if this kid has any sort of ability, that could be a pick 'em.
Yeah, okay. So for what it's worth, we saw the -3 a couple weeks ago, and their power ratings have been pretty close.
Yeah, it's been very little change.
Or they kind of were a little far apart. Now they're meeting in the middle. But so if they're about the same, okay, maybe Giants should be +2 instead of 3. But
That's a big number.
yeah, it's like if you were trading options, you'd want like some what's called where you make money where it goes up or down, but not if it's
right. The what is it? Iron Condor, whatever.
Iron.
You need an Iron Condor.
Yeah, dude. That's what we're doing in Survivor. Just put up Iron Condors. Yeah, I think or to bring it back to week 4 though, the Houston versus New England is like the choice, but like where you create value, it's finding something that you feel comfortable with to save Buffalo. Using that kind of dollar thing we were talking about.
Yeah.
You can make more dollars later, but you're less likely to be around later. So what do you value more? Personally, right now, I guess when I have 10 entries, it's like, I'm already thinking I'll put a couple on Buffalo, a couple of Houston, do a bunch of weird stuff. But now with only 4, I can't just throw out a little mix and match strategy. I got to have some conviction on something.
Yeah.
And
you could do a fat 10 on Buffalo.
2 weeks ago, maybe, not anymore.
Yeah.
Do a fat 4. But man, so everyone's got to be considering that, right? 4 or all in Buffalo. See you next week.
Right. There's some, aside from like the mental value of doing that, where it's like set it and forget it type of deal. There's you're locking in a chunk to get into next week.
Man, it's just the dream of getting to the last week of the season, no one having them, and they're all being on these weird teams, and you get the Buffalo Island, and it's like 100% plus EV because how much of a favorite they are compared to everyone else. Like we could see
on the Jets, man, that's wild. To go into week 18 on the Jets -12.5, and you and like one other guy have them or something.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously, okay, it's the last week. People could be resting because Buffalo's already got that 1 seed locked up.
Yeah,
but they seem. I mean, we saw it with Kansas City last year, right? They were great, and then the last week they were huge dogs because they sat everybody. So it's possible. Yeah. But even before the last week, we still got weeks 8. They're in the top 3 teams every single week. So that even if it's
that is a good feeling, and the ability to take Jets +12.5 for a double scooper. For some massive bet.
Yeah. I mean, if only you could bet the 12.5 before that, but
right.
A lot of decisions and holidays. I said we were going to talk about holidays. We're getting near the top of the hour, but I'm just want to say what I'm thinking about these. I know this week where the teams aren't directly about the holidays, except Detroit and Denver, Green Bay kind of near the top.
Yeah.
But the top 2 teams aren't holiday teams. But one thing is just seeing this action, Baltimore and Philadelphia both being the big favorites.
Yeah.
And Philadelphia kind of not. Their power rating went down this week, I think. People are a little less enthused about that spot. And we know the Baltimore spot of current ratings are huge favorites, but they shouldn't be 14-point favorites by Thanksgiving. I'm thinking.
You think? I don't know. That's my question for you. What's their percentage ownership on Thanksgiving? The Ravens.
Okay, well, just looking at the map right quick, if there's 73 now, and we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spots between now and then to use them,
Yeah.
they're probably going to be less than a third of the field available, and maybe way lower, right?
The fact that they're 27%, and you are the one that's telling me that all these people know how to play.
Dude,
and the fact that we're going to get to Thanksgiving and there's going to be 20% of the field that has Baltimore available. That's in my favor, brother.
Okay, well, if you want to know how many people burned both, that kind of shows how many. Like, if you only burn one, it's not that big a deal, right?
Okay, well, we got a lot of meat left on this bone. So by the time we get there, how many people will have burned Eagles and Ravens?
Yeah, I think it's going to be like high. It's going to be 90% plus, because everyone.
That would imply that there's a big chunk of people that don't know what's going on.
No, because when you get close to Thanksgiving, you're just like, you in your head, you're like, I just need that one team, and then you start using the other teams just to get you there. There's a crazy squeeze that happens before Thanksgiving where everyone wants to get there so bad because life is just better when you're alive Thanksgiving, right?
And now you're taking, the Packers as a 1-point dog or something like that.
No, I'm saying like going into week.
I know, but then you're going into it, yes, but then on Thanksgiving you're forced to take Packers or something like that.
Okay, but right now we have a little less than 14,000 people or entries in the contest.
Yeah.
About 300 of them have used Philadelphia and Baltimore. So that's a point to you for people getting a little maybe not planning as much. But when they get to, I mean, the vast majority of people, what's that, 95% or something like that?
Yeah.
97%. A lot of these people are going to get to week 12 with both. And then week 12, they're going to go, oh, hell, I'm just going to use Baltimore to get to Thanksgiving, and they'll have one of those teams left for Thanksgiving. That's what I see happening. But, this stuff can shake out. It's so hard to predict the availability. It might even be pointless with so many weeks where things can get jostled and things can go to 0 or 100, depending on how it plays out, right? Like,
yeah. Or your quarterback goes down, or all, who knows what.
Yeah, that's why it's so good just to be flexible. And obviously, we wish we could just save all the good teams forever and ever and be as flexible as infinity, right? But
yeah, like of course, we wish we took Carolina in this week.
Yeah, but you can't just do that forever, right? I mean, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen, though? I'm glad I haven't burned it. I don't have any entries that are too gross, so I'm not tangled up for Thanksgiving yet. But I do want to make an entry there, and it's uphill climb, right?
Brother, there is a Grandissimo entry that has burned Eagles and Ravens and Buffalo. Am I looking at this correct?
Yes, I'm not logged in on this thing. I can't pull it up.
I'm logged in, and it's called, Accorsi, Major, and Chris Paul.
Yeah, there's a lot of entries sharing the same one. Grandissimo is just a different beast when it's not going to end, right? Or excuse me, not going to make the end.
Yeah, but that is wild.
Right, but what's the chance it goes to Thanksgiving? What's the chance it goes to Christmas?
Pretty good.
You think which one? Both of those?
To Thanksgiving, like 90-something%.
Okay, yeah, we have survived mostly for 3 weeks, but as a person who's played with his family for a few years, man, it's hard to get 50 entries, get one to Christmas. Stuff just happens. Like, so
that feels dumb to me. This person is burning.
Dude,
they're lighting their house on fire.
Dude, compare it to Survivor Atlas G. Who's better so far, my money gone.
Yeah, yeah, but it feels better. But your entry feels better.
Right.
Yours is gone, and there's no hope of that money ever returning. But it feels better than having burned Eagles, Bills, Ravens.
Yes. Thank you for that, Mikey.
So you can hold your head high, and this guy needs to be made fun of and punished.
Yes, dude. I was having a rough couple of days torching all the money, but now
No, you can look back and be like, don't you understand? I did it the right way.
yeah. Hey, we just hit an hour though, and
Okay.
Speaking of money though, we got to cover this paywall that Atlas has coming. Just real quick. So the idea is to access the software, it requires a paid membership now. We're letting people choose their time commitment. If you want to commit to the whole season, the opening price is $64. The paywall won't ever pop up again. But if you want to just take it 1 week at a time, maybe you only have one entry and don't think $60 is worth it. We have an $8 per week or $25 a month. And these subscriptions will automatically end when the Survivor season ends. So we're not trying to get people subscriptions all year long or anything, just for the Survivor season. These are our opening prices. We're going to raise the price every week, proportional to how the field gets knocked out. We have our own little formula. It's not exact on how the field, but the idea is if you like using Atlas, you should lock in now. And every week you're going to watch this go up. And when people delay signing up, or maybe they find out about Atlas at the end of the year, when the field is 100 times smaller, the price is going to be, dozens of times bigger. Not necessarily hundreds, but that's the idea. And it's kind of a bonding curve in a way where the people and at the beginning are supporters. We want to take care of them, and then make it harder and harder for other people to get in because we want our community to ship all the money again.
And if you want to join the community, if you want to, get in the marathon and just at mile 25 and run it with us, that's fine. But it's going to cost you.
Yep. And we'll be putting out more details, just trying to make it as clear as possible. I appreciate everyone supporting us and what we're building. But at the same time, I'm not trying to sell anyone that you need this. The people who need it and have grown used to it, they see the value in it. But if it's not for you, we're still putting out plenty of content that's out for the world. We have our projections, we have our shows. So even if you don't think it's right to pay us, I think we can still offer you value in other ways. So stay tuned in all season long, and thanks for listening.
And I'm joining you Thursday, buddy.
You're gonna call in?
Yeah, I got nothing going on,
dude. Okay, excited, man. We'll have a great show. I'm looking, or I might study some of the Chiefs stuff you put out there in your articles, so I can be primed for some questions for you by then.
I also think we kind of set the bar a little bit for an article on which political figure has which entry.
Yes, maybe we do political figures from back in history,
from yesteryear.
Yes, like the Stalin entry, the Churchill, the Gandhi entry.
Yeah, I dig it. Better than the Trump Netanyahu entry.
Right. We're not touching that.
we don't need to go third rail.
But like the Caligula entry, which one?
Okay, just the absolute wackadoo. Just he just goes straight biggest underdog each week.
and wins.
Yeah, and wins.
8 years. Yes. All right, we'll review that. Nice hanging out, Mikey, and we're gonna do it again Thursday, Survivor Tailgate. That's 4 p.m. Vegas time. We also plan to put the next projections out Friday for our members only. Thank you. Goodbye.